Akhilen sir, shall we start?
Yes, sir. You can start.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Myself, Jasbir Singh, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science and IT, University of Jammu. It's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Akhilendra Pratap Singh, resource person for this morning session. Before we hear from him, let me give a brief introduction of him. Dr. Akhilendra is Assistant Professor in Department of Computer Science and Engineering, National Institute of Technology, Shillong, Meghalaya. He received his BTech degree in Computer Science and Engineering from Uttar Pradesh Technical University, Lucknow, and MTech degree in Information Security from Motilal Nehru National Institute of Technology, Allahabad. He is PhD in Information Technology from Indian Institute of Information Technology, Allahabad. He has authored or co-authored many research papers in international, national journals, conferences of high repute. His research interest His research interests include blockchain technology and its application, service-oriented computing, wireless sensor network, network security, network forensic, and machine learning. He is a IEEE member and associated with more than 10 international journals of repute as reviewer. Dear friends, let's hear from him. It's over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir, for introducing me. And I'm thankful to you and all your team members for giving me this opportunity to discuss the concept about the blockchain technology and the problem related with the blockchain technology. And then after that, why the IoT came in a picture, and then why IOTA platform came. So thank you. Thank you for the giving us such a nice introduction. Now I will start the session. Thank you.
Oh, our pleasure, sir. Thank you.
Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, so today, uh, as I'll discuss the blockchain technology, and then after that, the little bit problems, what happens, why the IOTA came in a picture. So those parts I'll discuss. So this is about the content which I'm going to discuss in the entire presentation or entire session. So what is that? Centralization and decentralization, traditional online transaction and issues, ledger issues and solutions, and background and motivation why we are going to involve ourselves in a blockchain technology, and then some basics about the blockchain technology. Now, after that, smart contracts, various tools, platform used for blockchain. And now after that, we'll tell you the some uh, drawback which exist in a blockchain technology, and why the blockchain technology does not support to IoT system. So that new platform came, that is IOTA, which we will discuss the about the platform, that is a, you can say that tangle transaction and consensus mechanism, IOTA reference implementation and IOTA setup, how to use that. As I think so all of you know that the IOTA is a new thing. Even the IOTA is in a premature form. Okay, so now I would like to thank to all authors of the figures used in the slides. So because I took the references from various research papers. So now, as you know that the centralization, so what is that? If we are going to talk about the IoT system, so what is the IoT basic? First thing is a what is the IoT? Can anyone tell me what is the IoT? Full form of IoT is known as Internet of Things. Why we cannot say about the Internet of Device? Why we cannot say that Internet of some Internet of sensor nodes? Why we cannot say that? So basically what happens in the Internet of Things, if you will see that, so this is what small devices are connected through the internet, and then after that it is after connecting that it is becoming a larger network, and then all the devices are sharing their data with the help of internet. But what is going to happen here, why it is known as a things? Because all the devices have a most probably different data formats. Those devices does not have the same data format. So if it is not on the common platform or not in the common format, then it cannot be generalized at. So that's why things can be anything. Things can be anything, any format can be there. That's why it is known as the Internet of Things. So if we are going to talk about the Internet of Things, so what is a drawback of IoT is that it depends on centralized communication model, sir, to interact with the system. So as you know that if centralized system, so that means we are going to be dependent on a one particular party. That will be a server, that can be any centralized entity. As the number of IoT devices increases nowadays, what will happen? The number of interaction between the server and devices increases the cost. And then if it increases the cost, then this will be, or this will also be another drawback. And now that, as I already told, that we are going to be dependent on a centralized authority, then if a particular centralized authority will fail, then what will happen? Then we will not be able to cope up, or we will not be able to connect itself with the network. So in that case, what can be another problem? Leakage of data can be there, because we cannot trust on the single entity. So what can be the solution? So solution, as you know, that the decentralization, that is a general solution for a centralized communication system. So in a decentralization, what we can do? So in the decentralized place, storage needs and computation can be distributed across the multiple devices, and the central failure cannot have the impact on the whole network in a decentralized network. So why we need to connect IoT enabled vehicles? With the decentralized network enables multiple users to exchange crucial information easily and quickly. So how we can connect that? We'll see that part later on. So initially, to do the transaction, first we will start the traditional transactions. Then what is the problem? What was the problem in the traditional? Then why the decentralized approach is required, or distributed approach is required? Then how distributed approach came in a picture, and then new platform we got, that is known as a blockchain network. So you can see that what is going to happen, two parties are going to transfer the money. If one party is going to send the money, another party is going to receive the money. In that case, what will happen? In this case, the third party was required to send and receive the money. So in that case, what will happen? So in that case, the third party, now third party will verify that, and if it is authentic and both the parties are authentic, then the money will be transferred from third party to the receiver. Now in that case, what will be the responsibility of the third party? So third party will validate the entries, and it will provide some cryptographic safeguard to the entries and preserve the historic record, that is known as, also you can say that, ledger or log file. Now in this case, what is a problem? The problem is this is expensive. Why? Because no one is going to give any service free of cost. So to do that, what the third party was charging some amount of money or coin, you can say that. And now expensive, this is a monetary term. Another term was what? If the amount will be passed through the trusted third party, then it will also take some time to process, to verify that. So what will happen in that case? In that case, in terms of time, it will also be expensive, and your communication will be slow. Your money transfer will take a time. And now major problem is what? Subject to frauds. Why? Because third party, only that centralized party is there. So if we are talking about the centralized party, then what will happen? Then if attacker will be able to attack or to enter in the server, then in that case, what will happen? Entire system will be crashed, or malicious data can be given to the or malicious amount can be given to the receiver. So these are the problems with the traditional online transaction. So if we are talking about the ledger, so what it does, so ledger records all business activities as transaction, which is known as a database. So every market and network defines a ledger, and ledger records assets transfer between the participants. And now what is going to happen? This was the traditional. Now if we are talking about the today's scenario, so what will happen? Multiple parties are there. The network, the entire market is connected to each other. If everyone is going to maintain the ledger, then what will happen in that case? In that case, too many ledgers will be there. If too many ledgers will be there, then maintenance will be costly. So every market has its ledger. So every organization has its own ledger. So if we are talking about the monetary term, so one major problem is, which was recorded in 2019, I did not updated that. Sorry for that. So what that? High transaction cost, as I said. So JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America, and Wells Fargo Allo earned more than $6 billion from ATM and transaction fees in 2019. So you can see that it is big amount which the banks are charging. So after that, what? So another problem is what? Double spending. So if you are talking about if anyone is sending a money to the particular receiver, so in between, if it will not be verified, and then again in this case, what will happen? Double spending problem can be there. Okay, and centralized, as I already discussed, private ledger. So bank contains the ledger which may crash or prone to hack. So now from here the picture comes actually. So what is that? So nowadays market is connected. If market is connected, so what is that? So market has some participants. So what is that? Without the connecting of those participants, so market cannot use the internet of things, you can say that. So internet connects the participants, and those participants are what? Those participants are customers with e-banking, customers for branch sites, ATM, international banks, employees, financial, some commercial finance companies, and corporate clients, third-party services, outsourced service providers. So many parties are there which are connected with the internet to share their data. So now what basically market does, when these participants are connected, then it became a market. After that, why? They are going to do some tasks. So market organize the trades. So public and private markets, two type of market can be there, and values comes from the assets. So that means every participant will have some assets, and those assets will give us some value. So those assets can be physical asset, virtual asset, and services are also assets. For example, if you are using a cloud to execute your task, execute your let's say that if you are going to execute, or you are going to do some computing intensive task, then your system is not able to execute that. You are going to take a service to the Google, then you have to pay that. So that means services will also be a asset. So now everything needs what? Transaction exchanges assets. Okay, so when the assets will change, then automatically it will form some values. So now if we are talking about the connected market, this part was what? Centralized ledger. Now what was happening? So in centralized, there was a problem with the centralized authorities. So now what nowadays the participants are connected to each other. It forms a network. They are going to do some transaction in terms of value, in terms of money, in terms of assets. So after that, what happens? If we are talking about the concept about the ledger, then what will happen? So in this case, you can see that this is the scenario. So every party keeps its own ledger and it is maintaining the state. So what can be there? Here the problem can arise. What problem can arise? So sometimes what happens, that let's say that Alice and Bob, they are sharing the ledger. So they are doing some transaction, and both the parties are maintaining a transaction. in its own ledger. Let's say that after doing a transaction from Alice to Bob or Bob to Alice, then what happens? Bob maintain its ledger, but what happens? The transaction is not committed at the end of the Alice side. Then Alice will not be able to maintain the ledger or to keep the entry. Later on, what will happen when the both the parties will sit together to match the ledger? In that case, what will happen? Data inconsistency may arise. This is a one problem. Another problem is what? That attacker may attack on the ledger of the specific party, and then they can make some harmful activity which will create a inconsistency. So that means with this type of problem, confusion will be created, and then the the business will be affected. Okay, so this is the problem with the multiple ledgers. So what can be the solution? So if so, solution can be there. What once can we keep a one ledger for all the participants? If we are keeping a one ledger in for all the participants, then in that case, what will happen? In that case, if any transaction is going to happen, then the parties will be able to keep in that ledger. And then in that case, if any problem will occur from there, it can identify that who has done what transaction at what time. It can be recorded, okay, and it can be traceable. So after that, what happens here? Some issues arise if we are keeping a one ledger. Okay, so what are that? Can we permanently store assets globally with the trust? So because if the single ledger will be there, so single ledger means what? Somewhere we have to store. So can we keep a trust on that party where we are going to store? So in that case, what will happen? We are giving the single ownership to the particular party. Okay. Now my question is, why we have to keep a single ownership to the particular party? That then what can be there? Then sometimes there can be a problem with the biasing. Okay, but not saying that every time, but there is a possibility. And then who is going to manage the identity? Who is going to manage the identity of the person who is going to do the transaction? Who is going to keep the record of the transaction? But whether it is easy to transfer of asset if we are keeping the record in a centralized ledger? So what will happen? So it creates the illusion of a single as a global computer. So now solution what came? So again here we moved towards the centralized concept. Now, but these are the problem with the centralized ledger. That's why we came to the solution. What is that? Distributed database management system. So what is that? Distributed, multiple sites are there. Every sites are keeping its own. It's a database somewhere. So the entire database is distributed. Okay. So various known big organization like Oracle, MySQL Server, they are providing a distributed database management system. But again, what is that? Can we trust on the particular centralized authority? Because who is going to provide the service? So these services will be provided to Oracle and SQL. So again, we are going to put the trust on some organization. So in that case, what happens? Again, centralization will come. Complexity and cost will be there because the database will be distributed at a different nodes. Now, whether we should trust on the database company or anyone? No. So in that case, what happens? In that case, blockchain technology came in a picture to avoid these problems. So in this, what blockchain technology provides a one virtual ledger. So as I said that. So in a virtual ledger, what will happen? One common trusted ledger is there. Today often implemented by a centralized intermediary. Blockchain creates one single ledger for all parties, replicated and produced collaboratively. Trust in ledger from cryptographic protection and distributed validation. Okay, so that means you can think of like if there is a one ledger and that ledger will be shared to anyone, Okay, so in that case, can anyone or attacker can come to join the network? If the attacker will be able to join the network, then what will happen? Again, there may be a problem. What, the attacker can do the some false transaction, then in that case what will happen? So these are the initial problem of thinking. Okay, so we can think in this way, but what will happen in this case? It provides some mechanism so that attacker will not be able to join the network. So why blockchain? So blockchain is not for a simple application. Blockchain is required for a complex transactions, which, so that means it simplifies the complex transaction. So where logistics. So logistics means you can see that the small components will be kept on the ship, and then real time visibility is very difficult in this situation. So in this case, what happens? So it provides a real-time visibility, improved efficiency, transparency and verifiability, reduced cost. Now, second complex transactions are what? Property record. Because property is a major problem nowadays. Why? Because some fake registry, some fake documentations are there. So in that case, what? It provides a digital format of all the records, all the property details, and then it will be unforgeable. Fewer disputes will be there. Transparency and verifiability will be there, and lower transfer fees will be there. Why? Because if anything for any task, for any uh, kind of, you can, that transfer of property you have applied, so if everything, if the things are connected with the blockchain, then what happens? You can think, you can identify that what was the total assets when you applied for to purchase the property, when you got the registry for that property, everything will be maintained, and who has done what, at what time it has done, everything will be maintained digitally, and who are the participants in that network with some specific privileges, those participants can verify, can identify the property. So in that case, what will happen? Very fewer disputes will be there, and if no other persons will be involved, everything will be digitalized, and persons or physical persons will not be involved, then automatically transfer fees will be very less. And another complex uh, application is what? That capital market. So faster settlement time, because if you purchase some share, so when you purchased, at what time you purchased, what was the amount, okay, then after that when you sold the, or when you are going to sell the that share, so everything will be recorded. Okay, so it won't take us too much time, because digitally everything will be processed. Increased credit availability, because as per your record, your record will be maintained. Based on your record, it increases the credit availability. Transparency and verifiability, no reconciliation cost will be. Now, so after that, so these were the application. And now after that, what is a blockchain? So blockchain is a distributed database, but not actual database. It is a distributed database that maintains a continuously growing list of ordered record called a block. And each block contains a timestamp and a link to previous block. So, so what will happen if multiple blocks will be connected? Then in that case, what will happen? In that case, and if any block will have a problem, then rest of the blocks will be in a problem. So that's why it is, you can say that, immutable. So since the block are cryptographically connected and 51% has power with the genuine nodes, the chance of modification of data is very less. And regular distributed database versus blockchain. Why? Because as I said that, why blockchain is suitable rather than the distributed database? No need to trust all users in the network, or 51% users. So it is suitable for the untrusted environment, record keeping and searching in a complex task. And blockchain is a chain of block which contains the information, as I said, data, parent block hash, timestamp, and the transaction. Blockchain is growing when the list of record called blocks, which are linked using cryptographically. Each block contains a cryptographic hash function of the previous block, a timestamp, a transaction data, none's other values, so that if the previous new block is or a next block is connected with the previous block, and next block will be generated with the some values of the previous block using a hash function, then what will happen if any problem will occur in the previous block, then what will happen? Then in that case, the next block will not be able to generate the record. Okay. So blockchain is a decentralized computation and information sharing platform which enables multiple authoritative domains who do not trust each other to cooperate, coordinate, and collaborate in a relation decision-making process. So blockchain is open, accessible to all. So that it can be private or public also. Okay, so that will depend upon your application, which type of application you are going to design. So blockchain is open and distributed ledger that can record transaction between two parties efficiently and in verifiable manner and permanent storage. So because it cannot be changed. If once you have done the transaction, your block is created, then the block will be recorded. So you will not be able to modify that block. So that's why it is known as that is a property of a blockchain, that you can say that immutability. So how it is? So blockchain is a peer-to-peer network. Now, little bit of things you can connect here. IoT. It is a blockchain is a peer-to-peer network of computers called a nodes that shares all the data in the network. And what IoT does, IoT also shares the data in the network. So if device is connected to the blockchain, then it can communicate with all other computer nodes in the network. So transaction data in a blockchain is contained in a bundle of records called a blocks, which are chained together to create a multiple public ledgers. Okay, so that means multiple branches will be there. Ledger means you can say that in one ledger, multiple branches can be there. So you can see that peer-to-peer, no central authority. Okay, so everyone is a owner of the ledger. So blockchain, in a nutshell, you can say that 4 things are there in a blockchain. One is a shared ledger, cryptography concept, consensus mechanism, shared contract. So what shared ledger does, it appends only system of record shared across business network. Cryptography part module, what it will do, it will ensuring the security, authentication, and verifiability of the transaction. Consensus mechanism means what? All parties agree to network verified transaction. So that means if any party is going to do any transaction, so in that case, what happens? It has to write some logic. It has to write some contract, whether for the particular contract or rules and regulation, whether more than 50% parties are agree or not. Okay, if the parties are agree, then your transaction will be validated. Otherwise, it won't be validated. So shared contract, what it does, as I said, that it is a business term embedded in transaction database and executed with the transactions. So traditional and blockchain based access control. So traditional, you can see that, can I access data X? You will ask to the particular centralized server. So it will respond you, and you can access the server. So, but in case of blockchain, what it will ask that, can I access the data X? So in that case, what the parties of the network will validate your request, whether your request is valid or not. Okay, based on your records. And then after that, if all the parties means more than 51% parties are agree, then in that case, what will happen? Consensus response will come to the user. Now you can access the data. In that case, you can perform the transaction. So this is about the traditional centralized access control and blockchain based access control. So 4 elements that characterize the blockchain. So replicated ledger. So replicated ledger means the one ledger will be there when the transaction will be committed. Then those transactions will be recorded in the ledger. So it will keep the history of all transactions. Appends only with immutable past. That cannot be changed. And distributed and replicated. Now, cryptography. So here gives the basically these four characteristics. You can say that it also gives the some concept about your research work, that how you are going to do that in terms of cryptography, in terms of consensus mechanism. So integrity of ledger, how you are going to maintain, which algorithm you are going to maintain, how more secure, and authenticity of a transaction, privacy of transaction, identity of participants. Now consensus, that is a decentralized protocol. You can say that proof of work, proof of Byzantine fault. So various algorithms are there for consensus part: shared, control, tolerant, disruption, transaction, validated, and business logic. So these are the basically 4 elements which characterize the block. Now, what are the properties of the blockchain? So it is a distributed, decentralized, cryptographic, public, verifiable, not for the particular entity, immutable, transparency, integrity, redundancy. So these are the things which are required nowadays for digitalized format or digitalized platform. So these are the properties. Because of that, the blockchain technology is going to become or nowadays it is popular. So initial development of a blockchain was based on a Bitcoin. So it solves the issues of centralized bank system. Okay. So what is that? So Bitcoin is a popular cryptocurrency, follows blockchain technology. Bitcoin has a distributed ledger, and ledger is a public for all to access. Why? Because it uses the blockchain technology, and transactions are immutable, thus cannot be hacked. Double spending is not allowed here, and no transaction fees or very minimal in comparison with the third parties such as bank. Okay, like that the banks are recorded in a 2019 some $1 billion. So Bitcoin transactions, what it does, transaction is a part of a new block that will be validated by the miners. Miners means the parties, the participants which are involved in the blockchain. And if those miners would validate that, then it will get some reward in terms of money, in terms of computation as per the application. Okay. Otherwise, what will happen? No one is going to validate that. So every transaction holds the detail of transfer of currency from one account to another. And the balance of any account is not stored explicitly. Minor are those who use the resources to validate the block containing the transaction. So once the block is validated, money will be deducted from the sender's account, and it will be transferred to the receiver account. But after the validation of the participant. So this solves the problem of double spending. So miners get the reward or incentive. So how Bitcoin flows? So the flow diagram, someone requests for a transaction. The transaction is broadcast to the peer-to-peer network. Now majority of nodes called as a miners validate the transaction. Then after that, the validation, another step will come, that once verified, transaction become the part of new block for the ledger. Then block, that means after the validation, only the blocks will be connected to the ledger. And then what will happen? New block is then added to the existing block, and then the transaction is complete. So this is a, you can say that flow diagram of a Bitcoin cryptocurrency. So this is a block structure. So block structure contains a block version, parent block hash, Merkle tree root, timestamp, bits, and nuns. So this is the structure of the block. Now, why it is said that the blockchain is gives the immutability property. So you can see that if so every data and the block with the help of some structure here, that with the hash function, the new hash will be generated, okay, based on the previous block. So what will happen if any block will be tampered, then what will happen, then next block will not be able to recover the data. So this is that's why it is immutable. Now, why blockchain now? So cryptocurrency has been a key technology in the financial world for decades, and the trust model business has not changed. Bitcoin started in 2019. Okay, now after that, the promises of blockchain is what? Reduce the trust and replace it by technology with the help of some cryptographic techniques. Now, you see here, this is little bit research. This is motivated towards the research. Why we should? Why the researchers are moving towards the blockchain technology? If you see here, now core technology, the research in the core technology is approximately going to saturate. Now you see here, we'll start from the wireless sensor network. So initially, what? 9253. Then after that, what is that? 9120. Then 8816. Then in 2015, in 2016, 8776. Now with this format, you see that at a certain moment, it is going to decrease that. Okay, in 2020. Now, again, if we are talking about the WSN security, this is core WSN. Now we are going to the application, that security part. In this case, you see 11,000, then after that 1,000, then 1,168, 1,210. So similarly, again, what is going to happen here till 2017? What was there? The WSN security, it was decreasing. Now after that, little bit increasing with the new security concepts. What is that? You can think up of that. Now, similarly, all the things, the smart contract, 2013, only one paper was there on a smart contract. Now, in 2014, no paper came. Now, 2015, 7. Then 2016, 34. 2017, 120. And then after that, you can see that the things are increasing. Smart contract part. Now, Ethereum is a platform. So Ethereum, so 2013, 14, nothing was there. 15, again, it is increasing. You can see that. And in 2019, it was 826. Now 2020, 865. Similarly, for cryptocurrency, when it came in even the cryptocurrency was involved, was launched in 2009, but the research paper started to come in 2014. And again, you can see that this is increasing. Other research area, you can see that it is increasing, decreasing, increasing, decreasing. Okay, but here you can see that cryptocurrency also increasing. Bitcoin part also, it is going to be increased, and blockchain technology also, you can see that it is increasing for 2020. So now it gives the motivation that the researchers are moving towards the blockchain technology, smart contract, Ethereum, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, but the researchers are motivating and moving towards the blockchain technology with what? With the new application. Because initially it was developed for only the cryptocurrency. Okay. Now the researchers are using the blockchain technology for new application. Okay, to design that. So that's why this is a motivation to do the research in the area of the blockchain technology. So you can see that again. So number of publication per year in a blockchain. Okay, so it is going to reach toward the 6,000. Okay, till 2020. Now, what are the blockchain types? So now I think so it is clear to everyone why the blockchain technology is popular nowadays for applications. Okay, so blockchain, basically we have three type of blockchain: public, private, and consortium blockchain. So public blockchain, it is a public blockchain which have a ledger visible to everyone on the internet. Anyone can read, write data to blockchain. Also, anyone can verify and add a block of transaction to the blockchain. So basically, this is public. Anyone can join the network, but it uses a proof of work, not and proof of stack consensus algorithm. So everyone can take a part in the consensus process. Private blockchain allows only specific people in the organization to verify, add transaction block, but everyone on the internet is generally allowed to view. It has low transaction cost. And then what is that? It uses the PBFT, practical Byzantine fault tolerance, and RAFT consensus algorithm, RAFT. Okay. So consortium, this is only for the group of organizations can verify, add transaction. That means a group of people who are working on the same project. So they can form the blockchain network and they can do the work. That is for a group of work. Private, so other users who are not allowed, some are allowed, some are not allowed with a specific privilege. So some can see that and some can modify and verify that. So now, what are the blockchain variants? So blockchain, so public blockchain, consortium blockchain, and private blockchain. So when based on the property, you can identify that uh, for which application you can apply. So consensus determination, all minors. So that means what? If your application is needed, your application needs that consensus is required with all the participants, so all will be the minor. Consortium, as I said, that selected, and private blockchain will be one organization who is going to form the network. Immutability, impossible to tamper, can be tempered and can be tempered. And then consensus process, permissionless. Consortium will be permission and private blockchain will also be permission. Okay, why? Because we are keeping the restriction with some privileges. Read permission, public blockchain, anyone can read. So public. But consortium blockchain, not the public one. It is a public or restricted. And private blockchain, public or restricted. Efficiency, if everyone will be able to join the network, so automatically the efficiency will be low. But consortium, it will be high, and private blockchain also it will be high. And centralized, also no centralization. Consortium means you are giving us some privilege to some nodes. In that case, what will happen? Those nodes will have the power to do the some computation. So in that case, what will happen? It will be partially centralized, not all, but here in the private blockchain, yes, that will be centralized. Why? Because you are giving the opportunity to one organization to form a network. So only that particular organization will be able to form the network and to allow someone to enter in the network. So these are the characteristics. That is okay. Okay. So advantage of a blockchain. So it is open. It gives the token. Okay. If anyone will other token to or rewards to client. Okay. So if anyone will be the miner, the particular node will validate the transaction, then that will get us some reward. Transparency, traceability, distributed anonymization, and immutable. These are the advantages of a blockchain network. So from these advantages, basically, the application part will be defined. Which type of application? Based on these properties or advantages, you can think about the application. So basically, how blockchain works. So A won't send money to B. Now, the transaction is represented as a block. So now, the block is broadcasted to every node in the network. Now after that, sufficient miners approve the transaction. If it will be approved, then what will happen? Then the transaction is added to the blockchain, and then the B will receive the money. How the blockchain transaction work. This is all about the general blockchain. But how blockchain transaction work? Transaction requested, broadcast transaction, validate transaction, and add a blockchain. Now, little bit of the smart contract. So smart contract here, what is that? Smart contract is some rules, data, concept definition, and the process, where you are going to define the, and all the parties who are the participant of the network, though all the parties should be agree on that. So contract layout, the business model that govern all the interaction between transaction parties. Okay, so different contracts are available for general use: Ethereum smart contract and Hyperledger chain code. So you see here, basically, what is that? Seller and buyer organization, for example. So what is that? Application is what? Seller organization 1, buyer is organization 2, and transfer that car part and seller from seller to buyer. So car contract is what? It keeps the property. It has to keep the property about the car. What is that? Contract. What is that? Query for the car, get the car, and then return the car. So you have to find the some information about the fetch the information about the car. So now here transfer will be what? Car will be transferred from seller to buyer. So buyer will be there who will sell that, and then the buyer who will buy that, and from the seller. So these are the functions, and then after buying that, another part will be for a smart contract, that is a update part. So now how to deploy the smart contract basically. So to deploy the smart contract with the Java, so what some steps are there? What is that? Step 1, install Node.js and npm package. What is that? Node.js simulates the server on local machine, but you have to install the latest version 6.13.0 in Ubuntu. And npm is what? Library of Node.js or package. Install latest version 5.7.1. When we constructed this, basically, when in our lab we constructed this diagram. So curl. Now after that, what? Step 2, check the version Node.js, as I said here, and then after that install the curl used to transfer data from server. Okay. Now after that, after installing that, what you have to do in the next step, you have to create a test RPC, remote procedure call, and install a test RPC, run the test RPC. Okay, so creating a test RPC, Node.js based Ethereum client for testing and development in Ganche. Okay, and install test RPC, adding all node package to our local machine ethereum.js.test RPC. These are the practical things how to deploy the smart contract. Now run test RPC running on localhost 8545, and it will list of account address and private keys. What you will get from running the RPC? So you will get the list of what? Account address and private keys. After that, what you have to, in step 5, you have to install the Block Explorer gift. What it gives is you will be able to install it through Git. Okay, and it shows the block detail such as timestamp, transaction, etc. And then after that, you can see the view of Block Explorer port with the 8000, and then open Remix ID, run, and the Solidity contract. So you can run that part. So this is the way how to deploy the smart contract on your system. Now, there are some confusions. What is that? Which particular language supports to the smart contract, and what is the advantage of the disadvantage? So basically, smart contract languages are C, C++, Java, Script, Python, Golang, Solidity, Remix, and Truffle. And it has several advantages and disadvantages are there. Okay, based on these advantage and disadvantage, you can select the language, okay, for your application. Now, When, let's say that when your blockchain has created, multiple blocks are connected. So how the blocks will be stored? So blocks will be stored using the Merkle tree. So what is that? Root will be there, and after that some branches will be there. Multiple branches can be there from the one root, and then similarly what are the blocks are connected to each other, and at the end what, there will be a small block which will have a data. So what is that? It estimates the hash of all transaction in the block. So for all the, basically for all the blocks here, that will be hash function, and based on the hash the blocks will be stored. So tree holds many items but just need to remember the root hash. Can verify membership in big of log and time space because it is a tree. So variant stored Merkle tree can verify non-membership in big of log and time. So permission block, that is okay. Okay. So I don't think so. This part I'll share the slide. You can. So this is a main thing, how to select the tool for the blockchain network. So you see that if you want to a blockchain, if you want to form a one network based on blockchain and you want to configure that, so to configure that, what are the platform which supports the configuration to configure the network as per your requirement? So Remix does not support, Ganche not support, My Ether Wallet not, Get EH and Hyperledger. These are the two platforms which you can configure. Deploy the blockchain. So Remix is not persistence. Ganse supports that. GetEdge supports. Hyperledger supports, but My Ether Wallet does not support. Deploy the smart contract. Remix supports. GetEdge support and Hyperledger supports. Rest, Ganche and My Ether Wallet does not support. And compile the contract. So here, if it develop a smart contract, if you are not able to develop the smart contract, so how you will be able to compile the contract? So you will not be able to compile. So these two, again, Ganche and My Ether Wallet, will not support to compile that. Create an account. So Remix supports, GetEdge support, and Hyperledger supports. But Ganche and My Ether Wallet does not support it because configurability problem is here. And now deploy the contract. Again, what happens? So Remix supports, My Ether supports, and GetEdge support, and Hyperledger supports that. And create the user identity for interacting. So Remix, My Ether Wallet, GetEdge, and Hyperledger supports that. So similarly, these are the activities which supports for which the platform supports, and for some activity the platform does not support. So this is a, you can say that the compiled thing which will give the idea which tool you have to select for the application development. Now different type of tools used for blockchain. So you can see that as I discussed here. So Hyperledger tool, great, and Hyperledger for Quilt, Hyperledger Transact, Hyperledger Ursa, Hyperledger for Aries, Hyperledger Avalon, and Hyperledger for Burrow. These are the tools which are developed based on this framework. Okay, and these are the languages. These are the languages which are used here. Similarly here also. So now actually our main focus is IOTA. So IOTA is what? IOTA is open source. It is developed based on a what? Python oblique Java. So IOTA is an open source distributed ledger and cryptocurrency design for Internet of Things. It uses a directed acyclic graph to store transactions on its ledger, motivated by potentially higher scalability over blockchain based distributed ledgers. IOTA does not use a miners. you remember this part. IOTA does not uses a miner to validate the transaction. Okay, so if here no miner will be there, then how the transaction will be validated? Okay, this is a one part which makes a generates a question. Instead, users that issues a new transaction must approve two previous transaction and perform a small amount of proof of work. So that means any transaction will be allowed to connect in the network when first you have to allow, that means you have to approve two previous transactions. Okay, so if you will not approve to previous transaction, then you will not be able to confirm in the network. Okay, so with this way everyone will be connected, so transaction can therefore issued without fees, facilitating micro transaction. So Microsoft Cocoa, and this is a Cocoa language is used. So now security mechanism in a blockchain: initiation and broadcasting of a transaction, digital signature, private and public keys concept, validation of transaction, proof of work, and certain alternatives, chaining of blocks, hash block. Now this is a basically blockchain research area where you can work on what based on what application you can start the work. You can think about the work. What is that? Some use cases you can design for a financial banking, supply chain management, IoT, smart grid, medical and health, governance, and data centers. So financial banking, that what insurance processing. So because various problems are occurring with the insurance policies, what is that? In terms of medical, in terms of other things, that if any record will lost, if any data will be lost, then how you will do that? Okay, so if you will apply the blockchain for a specific case study, then it will work. Cryptocurrencies, stock exchange, and then enterprise sections. Now supply chain management, RFID based delivery system. I'll show you with one example here after this. And UAV or ultra, okay, vehicular ad hoc network, tracing, electronic vehicles, IoT, Internet of Things, that access management, identity management, device communication, fault tolerance, smart grid, energy trading system. This is a very, nowadays this is a very growing topic, energy trading, because what we are moving towards the that as government is already that promoting the solar energy system. Okay, so if for a particular village or particular area, you can think that if all the houses will keep the solar system on their roof, then if it has generated some energy which are more or greater than its consumption, then what will happen in that case? What the house will do with that excess energy? Then it can share with the another house which has a lesser energy. Then in that case, what will happen? Then in that case, the transaction part will come. Why? Because might be possible some other houses are also there who are searching for excess energy. Then what will happen in that case? In that case, the bidding problem will come. In that case, bidding problem will come. If bidding problem will come, who is going to bid that? Who is going to give more money for excess energy? Then these are the problems which you can think of. Medical and health. So data storage, data sharing, electronic medical record, access control policy. Nowadays, what is happening? Nowadays, why we can apply the blockchain network in a health sector? That let's say that a particular child born, in that case, after 1 year or after it's after some age, it got some problem. Then what will happen? It will show to the particular doctor in a hospital. Then doctor will give some medicine and it will keep some paper record. And then the parents will keep the record, and after some time the record will be lost. After sometimes again there's some problem comes, then what will happen? Again the baby or the particular the parent will go with the baby to show the doctor. Again, what will happen? It will give some medicine, and then after that, due to our careless or due to some reason, we have lost a paper. So that means the medical history we cannot maintain. This is a one problem. If we are moving from one hospital to another hospital, then what we have to do? We have to carry the entire paper. We have to keep the record for our all medical, our all treatment, and then we have to carry with the paper to the another hospital. But somehow if we have lost the paper, then we will not be able to trace that. Again, the doctor will not be able to know the medical history. Similarly, what will happen if you are moving from one place to another place? Again, same thing will occur. Then in that case, what will happen? So what can be there in a particular area? First basic problem is the one hospital where the pathology section will be there, doctor appointment will be there, and you can say that medicine part will be there, diagnosis part will be there, doctor treatment part will be there. So all the parts will be connected. If with the blockchain network, then what will happen with the specific identity management system? What will happen if anything will be generated, if any report will be generated after doing the test, then those record will be with the some identity. Doctor will be able to see that in its own cabin, in its his or her cabin. No need to carry any paperwork. Okay, so with this way, if multiple organization or other hospitals will also be connected, then paperwork will be reduced, and no need to keep the any paper. So from birth to till end of the life, all the medical history will be secured and will be kept. But in that case, what will happen? The hospital shall be connected with the blockchain network. So somehow it has to manage that. But the process can start from the single hospital. Okay, governance, that asset registry, citizen identity, e-voting. So now e-voting is one problem. So some paper came on the blockchain based e-voting. Citizen identity management, how you can do that. Asset registry, nowadays most of the states are suffering from with the problem of more disputes in the land registry part, because we are everything we are keeping on the paper. So if any paper will be lost, any paper will be removed by some mistake or by somehow, then what will happen? Then disputes will occur. But if the land record will be maintained with the blockchain, then from initial till the end, and for the next generation, next to next generation, everything will be visible, and this will be in a digital format. And now the next part is data center, where the cloud computing and edge computing is there, where we can apply the blockchain network. Okay, so but blockchain, you cannot make it as a generalized. It can be for a case specific. That's why it is written as a use cases. So these are the use cases. So what is that? Market sector, billing, monitoring, data transfer, quota management in supply chain network. Government sector, what is? Transactional, personalized governance, voting, proposition, peer-to-peer bond, digitization of documents, contracts, and proof of ownership for transfers, registry ID. So these are the basically tasks where you can think that to apply the blockchain. IoT can be what? Agriculture and drone sensor network, smart home network, integrated smart city, a smart home sensor, self-driving car, personalized robots, personal drones, and digital assistant. So you will get some paper here also. So if you will think about the smart city, that means a smart city cannot be smart until unless the home will not be smart. So to make the home smart, what will happen? So you can apply the blockchain. Okay, so not blockchain network, but sometimes what will happen? You are using the small devices. So small devices that not support the blockchain network. Why? Because due to the energy constraint. Okay, so we'll see that how can this problem can be solved. Okay, so this is a problem in the thrust area where you can work. IoT, identity management, access management, denial of service attack, low power, high increase of number of devices, medical and healthcare, patient data, if shared and modified. Okay, so fingerprint, iris print, genomics. So these are the patient data through which you can identify that. Or if you want to keep a record secure for the, you can give us some password to the particular patient. So with that, if patient wants to identify its record, then those records can be easily fetchable. Okay, financial things, supply chain management. Okay, insurance sector. These are the area where you can work, okay, with the specific problem as claim with a small module. You can we can think about the claim, how to manage a multiple portfolio, and how to track the policy status, eKYC, everything you can maintain. Nowadays what we have to go to the bank, or we have to go to the particular office for a KYC management. Okay, so as I said, that you can see that blockchain enabled wireless sensor network, that what is that? RFID based food supply chain. So what is that? It monitors the quality of the food, starting from agriculture land, storage to transportation. The monitored data throughout the process is visible to the customers. The meaning is what? If you want to keep some, you want to grow some, you can say that something you want to grow in your land. Okay, then in that case what will happen? You can start from the growing from the seed. Okay, and then till the mature of that particular thing. Then in that case what? How to monitor that? In that case what? Monitoring can be done with the RFID and the sensors. So package information is like a block which contains RFID address, manufacturer, timestamp, sensor type, and sensor data. And the blocks are connected with cryptographic functions so that it creates an immutable digital database of food packets at each instance of time. Implementation of blockchain in food supply avoids food contamination, food wastage, and loss due to spoilage. So that means what? Why this is required? For something, if you are going to believe on the some particular what? Some particular shopkeeper. So might be if any shopkeeper can the shopkeeper will not give the proper information about the particular product, which needs to keep some record or to maintain a certain policies. Okay, like the temperature should be maintained throughout its a life cycle. So how you can detect that? So if the network is connected with the block, so what will happen? So in this case you can trace that part. Now underwater sensor network security, you can also see that if multiple nodes are there, so how you can detect that whether the nodes are in the same cluster or not. So underwater sensor network are prone to failure because their topology changes frequently because of the movability property of the water. Okay, due to the flow of water. So underwater vehicles can move from one cluster to nearest cluster, as here you can see that. Okay, so in this case power is limited, WSN devices cannot be recharged in the water. Radio frequency in underwater is 5 order of magnitude less than that in terrestrial. So communication bandwidth is limited and affected by water temperature. So that means underwater communication part is also one of the challenging tasks where you can apply the blockchain network. So now we are coming to the IoT part. So basically, this was the basic about the blockchain network, application of the blockchain network, how you can select the platform to develop a blockchain network, what are the properties of the blockchain network, and what are the some advantages and disadvantages about the platform of the to form the blockchain network. So as per your application, you can think and you can choose the platform. So now after that, as a small devices are increasing. So before 2 years, we were personally I am sharing an experience. Me, my PhD student sat together and we were thinking that whether we can apply the blockchain network over the wireless sensor network. Then after some analysis and some implementation, we realized that we will not be able to apply the blockchain over the wireless sensor devices. Why? Because these are the resource constraint like energy. Okay, because to do all these things, it takes a too much computation. So after that, we came to the blockchain network with the energy trading system. And then now, before some time, we realized that we got a one platform, that is IOTA platform, which supports the smart devices or small devices which has a resource constraint. Okay, so that's why with the for IoT, IOTA is developed. Okay, so it is a network. IoT is a network which is connected with the Internet of Things. Devices are embedded with the sensors, software, network connectivity, and necessary electronics that enables them to collect and exchange their data. The term Internet of Things was likely coined by Kevin Aston of Procter Gamble, later MIT's. Okay, so what makes a different the World Wide Web and ubiquitous computing? So you see here, if we are thinking about the World Wide Web, what it provides a connectivity basically across the world. So wherever the devices are available with that World Wide Web, it provides a connectivity. But if you are talking about the ubiquitous computing, so sensor devices or smart devices will do the computation, and then whatever computation, whatever data is collected from the particular application, it will be sent to its server. Then from there, the worldwide part of World Wide Web starts. So both are connected to each other. So why, if we are going to talk about the IoT, so why just we cannot use the shared relational database for our IoT devices? So who would run this database? Again, because the devices will send the data, you have to store the data somewhere. So who would run this database? So you have to trust on the some party. In which country would it be hosted? What would stop that country abusing the mountain of sensitive information it would have? What if it were hacked? Can you actually scale the relational database to fit the entire financial system? How would you manage access control? These are the basic questions which give the idea for blockchain based IOTA, where because of these questions we are not able to apply the shared relational database. So now we are coming to the IOTA. So what is IOTA? Basically, IOTA is peer-to-peer network, and it was first conceptualized in 2014 and later founded in 2015 by David Sensteb, Sergey Dominik, and Dr. Sergey Popov, and a cryptocurrency of the Internet of Things industries. It was basically a cryptocurrency for Internet of Things industry. The main feature of this novel cryptocurrency is the Tangle. What is the difference? Tangle, that this Tangle is basically the protocol which works behind the IOTA. So which is developed based on the directed acyclic graph for storing the transactions, not a Merkle tree. And the micropayments in future will be more because of growth of IoT industry. Transaction doesn't mean that micro transaction, doesn't mean that only the monetary things. Sharing of data in terms of or sending and receiving the data in terms of the data collection or database, it will be a what? Transaction. Okay, IoT industry, and paying a transaction fees that is higher than the transaction amount seems illogical. So no transaction fees or reward. But if you are thinking about the blockchain, there was a fee, there was a reward for a miner. Here, no miner is there. So if no miner is there, no transaction fees will be there, no reward will be there. The cryptocurrency was initially released on 13 June 2019 and maximum IOTA token is this much. Now, IOTA is a nothing new. It is some specific properties are there. Based on that, it has developed. So IOTA is distributed ledger technology that is not the based on the chain of block as in other blockchain framework. This is not that. Through the use of Tangle, a directed acyclic graph generated from transaction, it is a distributed ledger with the advantages of scalability, feeless, and open source. IOTA provides a quantum robust signature for security, and Tangle for decentralized network, which leads to no single point of failure and no subscription fees for freedom of transact. So the transaction represents the directed acyclic graph, which is known as sites, and the issuer of the transaction are nodes. So Tangle, what is Tangle? Tangle is a public distributed ledger which stores, I'll show you how, which stores all the transaction in sequential basis called a snapshot. Okay, so snapshot is what basically it stores the current data, current status of a database. Okay, that is known as a snapshot. The address used once for sending and signing a transaction cannot be used again. The Tangle is replicated across all the nodes in IOTA network. Any transaction which is attached into Tangle cannot be changed. The transaction data in a Tangle are made by tries. Till now, what we know that? We know that the byte. Here it is tries. So the transaction data in a Tangle are made up tries. That means 0, 1, 2. So the difference, how you can differentiate the Tangle and a blockchain. So although blockchain and Tangle belongs to the same category, that is a distributed ledger, but they differ on a such key point. What is that? Tangle has no transaction fees, and the other is IOTA network have no miner. Other bottleneck of blockchain is collection of sequential chain of blocks where each block contains a specified number of transactions depend on a block size. So we can add new transaction to only to the end of the chain. Here it is not like that. So where is in IOTA, Tangle which stores the transaction in directed acyclic graph data structure. In each transaction is attached to two previous transactions. Why two? Because it has to, you can say that it has to approve two previous transactions. So IOTA is working with the concept to issue and transaction node need to approve two other transactions. That's why it is attached with two previous transactions. So in Tangle, proof of work is not used to secure the network, but it is used only to discourage spam transaction. And some notations are there in IOTA. What is that? Weight, cumulative weight, tip, score, height, and depth. Because why? Because this platform is developed based on the directed acyclic graph. So weight means what? The weight of transaction is proportional to the amount of work that issuing node invested into it. And it is only important that every transaction has an positive integer. Its weight attached to it. In general, the idea is that a transaction with a larger weight is more important than the transaction with a smaller weight. How? We'll see. There is behind the algorithm which will define the weight. Cumulative weight is what? It is defined as the own weight of a particular transaction plus the sum of the two weight of all transactions that directly or indirectly approve this transaction. With the example I'm going to show you in coming slides. Tip is what? Tip is the transaction that not yet confirmed. That means not yet confirmed means not yet approved by other transaction in the tips is unapproved transaction in the Tangle graph. The score, the score of a transaction is the sum of the weight of all the transaction approved by this transaction plus the own weight of the transaction itself. Height is what? Basically, height is the length of the longest oriented path to the genesis. And the depth is what? The length of the longest revised oriented path to some tip. Now, transaction, this is a life cycle. That what? For example, because we applied this IOTA for an energy trading system, energy trading system, what is that? IOTA node and network, tips selection for transaction, energy trading smart contract, and local power and all. Just wait for some minutes. So this is basically this particular life cycle is for energy trading system. Okay, so sending the energy transaction means what? So sending an energy transaction, because we took from our research paper that prosumer and consumer will be there. So any party can be either producer or it can be consumer. So it is known as a prosumer. Okay, so when it has to do any transaction in an energy trading system, what it has to install it has to create the IOTA nodes and it has to form the network. Now, tip selection for transaction. Tip selection means unconfirmed transaction you have to select using the algorithm. Then after that, when the transaction will be confirmed, then energy trading smart contract will work, and again it will be sent to sending the energy transaction. So that means again and again same steps will be executed for energy trading system. So IOTA bundle structure, what is that? So as in a blockchain, first block was known as a genesis block. Here the first block is known as a trail transaction. This is a trail transaction. Okay, and current index, why? Because this is the first block. Trunk transaction, this is one, because it keeps the information about the first index. Here it is linked with this one. Branch transaction, it keeps the hash value of the previous transaction in the tangle. And tangle is what? Tangle is a protocol which is a directed acyclic graph. Okay, so here you see that it is just given hash of a previous transaction in tangle. Description, this is PID, this is CID. Okay, PID means what? Producer ID, and this is a consumer ID. This represents the hexadecimal. Okay, this bundle we have created for our energy trading system. Now similarly here, the intermediate transactions are bundles are known as what? That trunk transaction. And last transaction will be known as, or the first one is known as a head transaction. Okay, so you see here current index is 1, trunk is what? 2. Why? Because it is connected with the second index. Here it is connected with the second. And branch transaction is what? Hash of transaction index 0. So why index 0? Here no previous blocks are there, say nothing will be here. But here it has a previous block. This particular block has previous block, so it will keep the hash of transaction index 0, and rest of the things will be same as it is. Okay, similarly this block, and other multiple blocks can be there for IOTA bundle structure. Now tangle formation, how it can be? In order to issue a transaction, a node does the following things. What that? The node chooses 2 other transactions to approve according to the algorithm. Okay, why these 2 transactions needs to be approved? So in general, these 2 transactions may one side. So the node checks if the two transactions are not conflicting, and does not approves conflicting transactions. For a node to issue the valid transaction, the node must solve the cryptographic puzzle similar to those in the Bitcoin blockchain. So this is achieved by finding a nonce such that the hash of that nonce concatenated with some data from the approved transaction has a particular form. In the case of Bitcoin protocol, hash must have at least predefined number of leading zeros. So when a new transaction arrives in the network, it must approve k previous transaction. In the implementation, k is 2. How to do that? We'll show you with some diagram. So computational cost of validating and approving the transaction is low. Our transaction will approve only when we approve the existing transaction. Here again, some related questions are here. Why should Alice approve the other transaction? As for the IOTA, why should Alice propagate other transaction to neighbors? Answer the following questions. What can be? Alice will approve the only when she or he approves that existing transaction, otherwise her transaction will be pending without confirmation. So you will be bounded here. That means the nodes will be bounded to approve the transaction. And ally should propagate the transaction regularly, otherwise she will not be the part of the network. That is, her neighbor will drop her from the dear neighbor list. So it has to broadcast the information that still I am alive. So whether she make the transaction or not, but the active member of the network, she has to propagate the transaction. He or she has to propagate. So you see here, what is that? You see here, this is the basically weight. This is the cumulative weight. Now you see here, this is tangle 1, formation of tangle 1. So basically how it works, let's say that these are the nodes A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay, these are the nodes. Now how cumulative nodes, cumulative weight or the weight. So you see initially what? A is new node. A is new node. If A is new node here, then in that case what happens? That new node will have cumulative weight 1 and its own weight 1. Now what it has to do? This particular transaction will be confirmed only when it will approve the two other nodes. So let's say that B and D. So you see here, what if it approves B? Then what will happen? Then what will be the cumulative weight of B? So its own weight is 3, but its cumulative weight will be what? Weight of itself plus weight of other nodes. 3 plus 1. That's why the cumulative weight is here 4. Similarly, for 6, it has to approve. So what is that? 3 plus 1, 4 plus 1, 5 here plus 1, 6. So D cumulative weight is, sorry, cumulative weight is 6. Okay, so with this way here, similarly, how it comes to 11. So similarly, you can think up about that, how 11 comes. As I am telling you that if you are talking about the 11, so 11 here, D is approving 11 and F is approving to 11. So what is that? So what is the its own weight? 3 plus 1. Okay, 3 plus 1 is 4. Again, what is that? Directly or indirectly, the node which are approved directly or indirectly with the other node. So you can see that A is approving to D and D is approving to this node. Okay, so in this case, what is going to happen? In this case, directly this particular node is approved by D, but this particular node is also approved indirectly by A. So in this case, what is going to happen? So cumulative wait, 1 plus 1, 2 plus 3, 5 plus 3, 8. Again, 8 plus 1, 9 plus 1, 10 plus 1, 11. So you can see that. First, you just wait. You see, first is this path. First is this path. These are the transactions. So what is that? 1 plus 1 plus 2. Now D is approved. D is approved by B also. So in this case, what? Indirectly, B also approves this particular node. So what will happen? The weight of this particular node will also be calculated. So 3 plus 1 plus 1, 5. Now again, you are coming towards the F node. F approves to this particular node. So what is going to happen? 5 plus 3, 8. Now, again, what is going to happen? This particular node F is approved by node F also. So 3, again, 3 will be added. Here, node E was approved by what? By C also. And then node F was also approved by E also. So if you will do the calculation, you will get the 11 here. So similarly, you can get this particular graph, how cumulative weight and weight of the node will be calculated by the algorithm. Okay. Now let's say that here one transaction, okay, directed a cyclic graph before. This is what? This is before the any transaction. Now here, after assigning a new transaction issued by node X in IOTA, what will happen? Let's say that this is a X. X is added. Now, till now, this is what? This is tips. This is tips. Why? Because not yet confirmed. 3 plus 3. Now it has to, what? It has to confirm two transaction. This and this, it has confirmed. So what? 1 here, and then 3 plus 1 is what? Cumulative weight 4. 3 plus 1 again 4. Okay. Now what about this? This particular node approved by what? Approved by this particular node. Let's say that Y. So what is that? 3 plus 3 plus 1, 4. And then it's an indirect node which recently came, not yet approved. When it approves these two transactions, then it has confirmed. But the cumulative weight will be counted. 3 plus 3, 6 plus 1, 7. Again here for this node also 3 plus 1, 4. Now again for this node 9, again it will be calculated with the similar way. And for all the nodes with this way, the directed acyclic graph will be created. Directed acyclic graph will be created for all the transactions here. Here one thing you can see that no way is there where the transaction is connected. Nothing is there. But in the blockchain, there was a restriction that you have new block will be added with the back of the next block or the previous block, you can see that. But here nothing is like that. It will be connected with the anyway if what? If it approves to other transaction, then it will be confirmed. You see here what I told you. This is another Tangle example. Now when the Tangle is simple one, when fewer nodes will be there, then what will happen? Then first it gives the idea of the simple node. But when more number of transactions will increase, then in that case what will happen? The graph will be like this, and these are the nodes which are the tips node. These are the nodes which are the tips node. Okay. So this is so you can think about the with the IOTA Y, more number of nodes. We try to show that actually if smart devices will be connected, so huge number of transactions will be there. In that case, if you will follow the certain policy that with this node only with this block another block will be connected, with this way another block will be connected, then there may be a problem. So that's why if more number of nodes will be there, more number of transactions will be there, a huge smart and small devices will be there. All the devices will be connected whenever or wherever, whichever it connects or it approves to other transactions. So this is a tangle node. If we are talking about the nodes, so what about the address? How the address will be maintained? So address construction can be done, and user can join the IOTA network without any specific address, but to make a transaction, address is mandatory. That means you can join the network, no issue. But if you want to do any transaction, address is mandatory to trace that. So a user can generate the transaction address using the random seed and index. And the seed can be generated by computing a hash on user secret password or using any random algorithm. So address reuse, anonymity, compromise of account, key disclosed in digital signature. So this is a bundle structure. How to do that? How to apply? Has trunk transaction and branch transaction. Okay. So current index 0, next block, next block, next block, next block. With this way, the bundle will be constructed. So tips selection strategy, how you will select the tips? Weighted random walk. So the walk always starts with latest milestone transaction and proceeds the path until get the tip. The two tip identified at first will approved, and however it may be wise to modify this rule in the following way. First, discard those random walkers that reaches the tips. Why tips? Not yet confirmed. Too fast because they may have ended on one of the lazy tips which are not approved for long time, and it follows the Markov chain Monte Carlo model. So you see here, these are the tips nodes. Some nodes are unconfirmed node, some node are new tips, okay, some fully confirmed, some validation path is there. So this is all about the network versatile tangle, that means the network structure, how it will be stored. Now transaction confirmation, rebroadcast, reattach and promote. These are the things. Advantage, less computation requirement, snapshot for every state, snapshot will be recorded. Okay, so no transaction fees is there. It becomes faster as its number of subscriber and transaction increases, and quantum proof is there. This is a one of the most important things. Are also this one, how to set up the IOTA. Okay, because you can think of the about the IOTA. This is a initial stage of a development. Might be problem during the execution. You can get some error. Okay, so you have to find with some library, some groups, and some. I'm going to show you some sites through where you can get the solution. So IOTA, to set up the IOTA, what Java is required. Java 8 is required. So IOTA could be installed on Windows, Linux, or Mac. Okay, so these are the steps. So two file you have to create. One is first to install the IRI file, and you can download from this link, and then after that you can to create a one file that with the run IRI with this particular command. Okay, so IRI will start on port 14600. So basically when you will run the IRI, then in that case what will happen, these things, the port number and these values, you have to configure that part. You have to configure. Then after that you need to find two neighbors for validating transaction for which you can join an IOTA group in Slack. So download the IOTA client from this particular link and follow the installation steps from here. Now for learning purpose, you can install a light node rather than the full node. You can transfer IOTA now once you can get the inside the wallet. So to set up that, Java 8 you have to first set up. So what you have to do, you have to add the repository. To add the repository, these are the commands. Update the repository, sudo apt get update. You have to install sudo apt get install Oracle Java 8 install. Confirm the installation with the Java version. You will get that, whether that is a Java 8 or not. Now after that, you have to set up the IOTA software also, which can be set up same on all the platform. So IOTA basically provides two implementation of its specification, IRI2 and IOTA. The second one is IOTA wallet. You run the IRI implementation, which is Java archive executable file, and that you will download, clone the repository from here, and download and install the version, this version, create the start.sh and IRI file after releasing and after the installation. That these two files, I'll show you how it will work. Then after that, you have to configure IRI file. What is that? First, port you have to configure, that 147.0.0 port number at which node is going to expose all its interfaces. UDP receiver port 147.0.0, UDP receiver port at which the node is going to accept connection from its peer to sync up with the Tangle node. Neighbor node, to find out that, again you have to set up the neighbor nodes. Okay, so neighbor configuration has address of neighbors of peers that the node needs to sync up database to the angle. And now after that IXI directory you have to set. The directories of extension like messaging, the IOTA provides an additional functionality. Now after that, headless you have to set it. Testnet and mainnet, two things there. Okay, testnet and mainnet. So testnet is a network for testing that, okay, whether your local network has set up or not properly. And mainnet is the network where you are going to join the network with the full capacity. Database part 21477. So these are the steps to configure the IRI file. Here you see that, as I said, that two things, IRI file and start sh. Okay, so IRI file you will configure with this way. Now starting IOTA node, to start the IOTA node, what you will do, you will go to the directory of IRI where you have installed it and run the command java char IRI 1.6.0 release dot something with this command. You run this, then when the node starts, it creates some other directories such as address database, address log, database IXI, and mainnet log file. These files will be, these basically directory will be created, and database will retain the Tangle database. Okay, check the console until the node is completely launched. When the node started successfully, try some other commands such as get node information, get neighbors, and add. Basically, this is for those who is going to work at an initial level. So these are the some testing API calls through curl. Okay, here these commands will be used for node information, for get tips, for end transactions, and then balance, and then approve. Okay, so node information, you can get that, how many nodes are there, get tips, how many new nodes are there, transaction, how many transactions are going on, balance means what about the weight, because based on the weight, based on the minimum weight, the algorithm will assign the node to connect in the network. Okay, which node has minimum weight or maximum weight, cumulative weight, its own weight, all balances will be given here, and whether the transaction is approved or not. So you can get all the information with these commands. These are the tested command we tested in our lab for our research work. So now set up and integrate your IOTA application. So how to set up? So using a Java client API, install IOTA Java. Set up the build for Java IOTA. Now after that, that is known as JOTA. Run the API through some test cases that you have to define. Use Eclipse IDE for building up as an application for front-end. IOTA does not have a smart contract like other blockchain technology have. It's just a money transfer or value transfer platform. Still, it is in the development stage. That means premature. You can say that. Here, some conclusive remark is here. What parameters? Cryptocurrency, dApp, how it work, consensus, EVAB algorithm, confirmation time, fork and waiting time. So you see here, cryptocurrency, that Bitcoin, Ethereum and IOTA, that is all supported. Now dApp, no. Bitcoin not, yes. And IOTA supports a peer-to-peer distributed application. So peer-to-peer network. How it works? For transaction, Ethereum for checking the balance, and IOTA for all kind of transaction. Consensus, proof of work in Bitcoin, proof of work for Ethereum, but for consensus only. But here consensus means only for avoiding the spam. Okay, proof of work. Because consensus algorithm basically not in IOTA. Above the algorithm, probabilistic and probabilistic all are same. Confirmation time for a particular transaction, average in a Bitcoin, it was taking a 10 minutes. Now with the Ethereum, it takes a 15 second, but in IOTA, still it is unknown. Fork, all are yes. Waiting time, that 7 second in a Bitcoin, Ethereum 23 second, and in IOTA 50 second it takes. Okay, so you can say that this is a costlier, but what happens, the more number of small devices will be connected, that's why it is becoming a costlier. So you see here, as I told you that, you see here with the implementation, that what you see, IOTA touch start.sh, okay, touch, okay, what we are assuming that here, we have installed Java 8 and we have already set up the IOTA software. Now after that, IOTA installation, how to do that? You see, touch IRI ini we have installed. Then after that, here that we got some information with the ls. Okay, in that directory some PDF were saved. Now touch start dot, again it is installed. Again we check that this is okay. Now again what curl nodes dot the tangle.org.43, okay, 443. Now here some, you see that some things we got. What? X post, H is content type, H is was IOTA API version, that is one. Here command get node information. So if when you run this, so what information you get here, example you got that neighbor node is how many? 24. Time is how much? This much is time. How many tip nodes? 50. Transaction to request, again 0. Again feature, load balancer. So everything you will get from here, from desktop. Okay, with this particular commands. I have here we have shown only one command, but list of commands are there. You can test that. I'll give you the reference. Okay. So now after that, again you say here, again this is added. Again after some time, again this particular thing is added. So again you can see that here neighbor is 24. Neighbor is 24. Time is this much, and the tip is how many? 51. You see here, what is that? Neighbor is 24, but the tip was what? 50. Here what? New one more transaction came. That's why it is 51. Okay. Transaction request, features, load balancing, everything is given here. So similarly, you can test all the things here for the installation. Installation and check. Okay. These are the things we have already tested. for your future reference. Okay, so one more thing I will tell you, that log file, IOTA log file, as I told you that from here. So finally, when you will run that, then you will get, there will be a IOTA log file will be created. Okay, so all the log file in all the information will be there, address, database, and other things also. Okay, this is all. You can see that. Okay, so we have tested some commands only. Okay. And what is that? This is basic Trinity. So IOTA you can install with the IOTA. You can that means either you can interface your this one. You can interface your this device with the IOTA installation, or you can do with the Trinity. So you have to install the Trinity. Basically, why I have shown this is another platform with the Trinity. It gives the basically 81 characters for a password. These are the BNQ, MQX, SJX. These are the basically seeds. Okay. So during the installation, it will ask about the password. So you have to select the 81 characters as a password to do the to secure a login and password. And after that, after login and password, then you can run the IOTA in a Trinity also. So these are the some important websites from where you can get all the updated information. Sorry, for IOTA. Okay, so thank you all. Now you may ask a question. Any question? Okay, so
I think, sir, there is no questions from anybody.
okay, so I'll share the slide. So installation part and